Evening, can everyone hear me okay?
Yeah, good evening, Knife.
Right, if you just want to sort of generally, I'm going to share this to Facebook that quick. If you can just generally give people
I've
a
shared it. I've
rundown.
shared it to our page. So,
Right,
but
brilliant.
if you're wondering why the cameras are not on, guys, every time we switch the cameras on, it cuts us off for some reason.
Yes.
So that's why none of us have got our cameras on because if I switch my camera on now, it'll kick me straight out.
Yeah.
Yeah, for some reason, keep having lots of problems. It's like with me and that lot. I've got a studio mic and everything, but for some reason, nothing's working all of a sudden. I just don't get it. Right, bear with me, right? Go, you just give it to you, right? Tonight, we want to talk a little bit about unity, and the fact of like groups uniting and reasons why we should, and the fact we have to. If you'd like to kick off, please go. Just while I sort a couple of settings out.
Yeah, unity is the key, ladies and gentlemen. And what's happening there? We've got people like you know sharing stuff to the groups, and it's just get kicked out and stuff like this, and don't understand why that's happening because I'll share anybody's stuff if it's true and if it's for unity, I'll share it. But some people just ain't doing that because they don't want to unite. It's as if they want to be the next Wat Tyler. I don't get that at all. We all want the same thing. So you've got to unite and come together for our kids, our children, are more important than petty arguments, etc. So that's my take on it anyway. So it's up to different people to see what they want to say or do. But that's where I'm coming from with it. Put your differences aside. Children are more important. The future of humanity is more important. And if you can't see that, well, you're going to deserve everything you get when it comes.
Well, this is the thing. The thing about unity is there's a lot of groups for different bits and things out, but we can all bring something to the table. I don't care if there's like 20 constitutional groups, 30 common law groups, things out, or whether it be stop the boats, 5G, we can all bring something to the table. This is what I don't get. I don't understand why. I mean, it's like you say about being the Wat Tyler. It's like many people have got into this movement in the last 3 years maximum, I'd say. And they're not aware, most of them, of how much has come before. I mean, let's face it, you and me started before Brexit, Gary. We've done a lot of things, many things these people have already done, and we know they're not working. But there is a lot of people that for some reason, I don't know, it's like you say, it's what do we do? How do we get unity? Because one group and one person is not going to lead the charge. Nobody's going to get like their name up in lights or in the history books for doing this. But yet we should all be fighting for our children's future, and we should all be trying to stop the horrid and abhorrent actions that are happening with the WF and everything else. But I just don't get it. I just don't understand why people are not uniting.
I just don't understand why all the petty arguments are there, to be fair. I really don't get it.
A lot of it is all egos. Nobody wants to give an inch. Nobody wants to unite because they want to be the leaders. That's a big problem.
Yeah, but unfortunately, that's what causes all the arguments and that, because everybody wants to be the top dog. And that's why we're trying to stop all that. That's why we want all the groups to come together. We want everybody to bring the banners, no matter what you're supporting. Whether it's 5G, whether it's child grooming, whether it's chemtrailing, it doesn't matter what it is. All unite under the one banner, because we can remove all this with our constitution, and we can all remove it together and unite together rather than having little pockets of people trying to sort it all out by themselves.
Evening, babe. Well, this is what I don't get, because there's a lot of people that say they've tried everything in 3 years, but they haven't tried anything. We spent many years trying a lot of things. I mean, it's like, Tammy, as well. Me and Dave part of a small group that actually undergone the arrest at a Fabian Society we actually pushed it and it got that far that the police actually backed our charges to CPS. They put the charges so these MPs can actually be prosecuted. We didn't we didn't go around and put a letter in a police station or anything like that. We actually put a case together. That case can still be done. And that was about 5 years ago. So when people say, oh, we've tried everything, no, they haven't. They've tried all the gimmicks they can come up with where they're not putting themselves on. But we really did put our necks on the line on that one. All it needs is people to back it. And that's what I'm not understanding. How can people not back something that has actually been proven to work? It's like with the Constitution. You can't fight the legal system because they created the legal system so they don't get prosecuted. This is what I don't get.
Yeah. Well, you only get out of this what you put in, and you know, I don't understand where people are coming from, ladies and gentlemen, because you're born a free spirit, and for some reason everybody's full of fear because of what's going on, this, that, and the other. And these people are very good at what they do. I want about the government and that now, and they just keep doing these false flags, doing these things, ramping the fear up. People just keep falling for it, and as long as that keeps happening, we're not going to progress. You've got to lose the fear. There's nothing to fear, and come together in your sovereignty, your individual sovereignty and your collective sovereignty, your unalienable rights, and let's get together and do this, because it can be done if people just do that.
Well, exactly. And this is the problem. People have got to understand that we have the tools to do this job. Gimmicks are not going to work. And we have a way of doing it. But it's like, take the Long March to Freedom. That was set up months and months ago to give people enough, because there's a lot of people that haven't got the money to buy camping equipment and get money for their food saved up and stuff like that. So we give everybody a lot of time. And now we've got, well, I am going to name him, Barry Paskins. He was contacted by us to be part of our march, and he seems to have taken every single idea and everything we have, and he's now trying to run with it with another couple of groups, at least one group that I know of. This is the type of behaviour that completely screws us over every single time. Because there's no unity.
Unfortunately, you're going to get this sort of behaviour, but it's down to the people to see through it and call that sort of thing out. I mean, you know, if that were the other way around, we would have supported it and we would have gone on that march, and we would have done it if, you know, if somebody comes up with a better idea than us or whatever, we don't try and steal that idea. We will
that's what they've done.
Back that idea.
That's what they've done. This is the thing that bugs me, because the group that's actually running everything, they was going to do something, and I think they was going to do a walk, but it entailed nothing to what it does now. I mean, literally, I think it was around about the end of October, begin the march, that they started changing their ways to this. But we've actually got proof that Barry Paskins and a couple of others, because we was contacting all groups before this. We started putting that in January, so people had a heads up. And they are literally using every single word we've used, like all coming together, banners and all things like that. It's plagiarism, so blatant, it's unbelievable. Evening, Rick. Your links in Facebook Messenger, mate. But this is the thing, and this is and this is not infighting. We don't mean to call these other things, but this is the kind of behaviour that has to stop. Why couldn't they? I mean, we've got the proof of this man being contacted. We've got the proof of others being contacted. Why can't you just all unite? There's no one special here. The whole point of Long March for Freedom 2 is so all groups are equal. We're all doing it together. Why would you have to run off and try and plagiarise and nick someone else's idea when we could all just do it together?
Well, the thing is, that's what happens, and it causes divide, and then nothing gets done, because then instead of having a united kingdom, you've got a divided kingdom again, and this is what the elites love. And you know,
but there's a lot of groups.
To be honest.
This is the thing, but there's a lot of groups that have been contacted. There's a lot of groups that are behind this, and no, we haven't put out because we've been given, because you've got to have camping equipment, you've got to have a bit of money, because this is not a one-day march. This march isn't what people think. It's going to take a few days, and it's going to lead up to something at the end. It's not a case of this isn't a march and go home type thing, and this was said from the very beginning. And this other group
Yeah.
and this other person, he just hijacked the whole thing.
But even that knife, I mean, the words got twisted too. We're just going to walk around London. People who know us, who followed us all this time from the Dragon days and that, no, we don't just go out and just. Yeah, if it's somebody else's march, we have to do, you know, go and support it and do what they're doing. Like when we've gone on the Tommy marches, etc., and different marches. You know, white wing marches, as they call them, but they're not really white wing marches. They're just freedom marches. People having a different voice to what the government says, but you're classed as right wing extremists, which is bullshit. But anyway, when we've gone on them marches, we've had to do what the organisers want. The organisers want to go home at the end of it, but anybody who knows me and you, no, we don't work like that.
No.
There's always an end product to what we do.
Well, take the Fabian arrest. I mean, at the end of the day, we'd end up getting that back by the Met Police and that lot to CPS with evidence of crimes proven. And I don't think people understand what that means. The paperwork and the evidence we put to the police, the crimes were proven. The only reason why it's been shelved is because not enough people are getting behind it. So why are these people that are hijacking our event and hijacking other events, why don't they get behind something that's worked? Because obviously taking a piece of paper into a police station hasn't done the job. Going up to Parliament saying something to an empty Parliament hasn't done the job. But what we did. It actually got the police to back it. We could have actually had, we still can have these politicians prosecuted. And not only can we have the ones that we've named, other groups can help us with their evidence of what they've got, of the crimes that other MPs with. We can put it all to one case and expand the case. So all groups could actually be part of the same conviction and the same court case, and we could actually bring them all down. But instead, people are plagiarizing, and this is the thing that's bugged me for a long time. There's no need to plagiarize. There's no need to take people's other ideas. There's no need to crap on each other. I mean, I know we've all had our disagreements over the years. But most of these people are saying time's running out. When are we going to actually start going, do you know what, time's running out, time to put things aside and just get this done? I don't have to sit next to you. You don't have to sit next to me. You know what I mean? It's like, but we can be on the same march. We can do the same thing. And the Long March for Freedom 2 is about all groups. It's about all causes. Our children, immigration, the whole lot. It's about everybody coming together, not splitting people up. And this is where people really need to start looking at people. When you've got a march that's been out at least a month or 2 months before anybody else adapted theirs, because you've got to remember, it didn't start off as a long walk to peace and freedom. It started off as something else. So when they adapt that and take something over, ask what kind of motive they would have. Now, I'm not saying the group do, I mean, but maybe someone just give me an idea because they haven't got notified. But there is one person that was notified, and we actually, before he says anything like that, we have to prove you was notified before anything was changed. We have to prove that you knew personally who was doing it and what was happening.
Yeah.
So look at these people who constantly want to divide. So rather than coming together, we've got people that want to split us up. Ask why they would do that.
Yeah. I'm just
I mean, we know that groups can actually be united. We saw that in Dover. There were 8 different groups in there. Not many people, but there were 8 different groups in there. They were all talking to each other. If they didn't want to be together, they just separated themselves, and that's it. So it can be done, you know, in a larger scale. So I just don't understand why people, you know, just don't want to, you know, to be part of something, you know, that it can bring, you know, the end of all the tyranny, you know, that the government is doing.
That's exactly it. Yeah. I mean, this is the thing. People eventually have got to understand that we've tried and we got a lot of success, like with the Dragons and CMW, which me and Gary are going to be talking about in a little while. We got a lot of success. We got the closest to actually bringing MPs to book to actually get them prosecuted. But people are ignoring it. And I do understand that happened 2 years before most people got into the movement. Most people were aware of most of this stuff. But at what point are you going to keep ignoring it?
Yeah. Well, we've been basically banging on there for 10 years the same. We've never flip-flopped. We've always said the Constitution and Article 61 is the way out of this, because it's like having a car, ladies and gentlemen. If you're having a car, you don't drive around without insurance, do you? So when you're going to do something that's lawful and peaceful, why wouldn't you want the insurance of the Magna Carta, Article 61 of the Magna Carta, backing you up? That is your insurance to show people that they can't touch you because you are doing everything you are supposed to do, what your constitution is telling you to do. You're not acting unlawful, you're not acting, violently, you're doing it lawful and peaceful under Article 61, which Magna Carta tells you you have every right to do when there's tyranny and corruption in your lands. So you're not doing anything wrong. So why people say, oh, it won't work, it's beyond me, because it's worked every time it's been used.
Yeah, every single time in history it's been used, it's worked. We've used it in parts, in certain things, it's been upheld. Terry, you've been there when it's been upheld.
Yeah, a few times on different cases.
Welcome. Because this is another thing, a lot of people haven't come into the court cases and seen it. Evening, Rick.
Good evening, Rick.
Hi, Rick.
He's muted. You're muted, Rick. You've got to unmute your mic. Okay. Hopefully he'll be on in a minute. Been a while.
Evening.
Evening.
You alright?
Yeah, not too bad. Yourself,
Evening, Rick.
Having nightmares with this phone.
We've had a nightmare getting on tonight, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah, none of us can turn our cameras on. As soon as I turn my camera off, it boots me.
Mad, isn't it?
It's mad.
Just keeps locking me out. I've changed it all over, but it just keeps locking me out today. I don't know why.
Yeah, we're just talking about like the Long March to Freedom and people hijacking it, because people don't realise the Long March to Freedom 2, the official and the original, it actually involves every single one. So the disabled involves all of us. Everybody will be able to take part in this one way or another. Everybody will literally be everything that creates the solution at the end of it, because that's what this is about. It's about a solution to it all, not just creating another gimmick or another, I don't know, Facebook live that everyone can like and share. We are near, Danny West, we are nearer to the date. We haven't released a date yet and a lot of things because of this exact thing. We knew this was going to happen. So it has to be when everybody's ready, everyone's got their stuff and everyone can do it, rather than just rush ahead and then force people to be. And we knew people was going to plagiarise it. Hopefully now people understand why we haven't put out any details of the route or where we're going or what we're doing. I mean, there's been a lot of speculation. It's like Gary said earlier, apparently we're meant to just be walking around London. That's never been said. We're never going to do that. Look, Rick, you've been there for many years. Me, Gary, all of us have been there for so many years. We've all been to Westminster. We've all been to Parliament. It's never going to work there.
No.
It's never going to work there. They've got it all sealed up and signed before you even get there. Things like that. There's other ways of doing this and there's better ways of doing this. But this is it. It's about groups coming together. Put your differences aside. All we have to do is just be there on the same day and all show unity. We don't have to start liking each other.
No. Yeah. Yeah, that's what Rocky said in the comments. It's right. Do you think that everybody who fought in the Second World War, who was in the army, that got on with everybody in their platoon or whatever it was, or regiments? Of course they didn't, but they knew they was fighting for the greater good, because fighting what they thought was fighting for the children and the wives and that back home. They weren't really, and if they come back now and they'd see that they fought and died for greedy bankers, and for them to gain more power and control with every single war, you'd think we'd land by now, and everybody out for Ukraine and say we've had enough of this bullshit, because we know exactly what you're doing. It's for more power and more freedom for them and more control and enslavement for us, because that's what these people work on. They are pure evil, and the people have got the power to stop it. I don't care what anybody says. You've just got to do your research, and you've got to look at your standing and where you stand stand in your truth, stand in your sovereignty, and uphold your constitution and your unalienable rights. And there's all these people can do, and they know it, and that's what they fear the most.
I mean, we've got people that are throwing about things like the Nolan principles, and I don't think they understand how the Nolan principles are used, because Nolan principles don't allow you to act in any way. Nolan principles are used as a rule of measure. This is what a lot of people don't get. We've used the law and the constitution for, as Gary said, a decade, bit more than that, and we've been successful in pretty much everything we've done with it. You said to me, you've been there on numerous occasions in court where you've seen it upheld and it's never been rebutted because it stands. And it's like Lola says, the only people that put the Constitution or the Magna Carta or everything down are the people that never bothered to learn how to use it properly in the first place. Because we've got this thing where people go around saying, I'm under common law. Well, you're not under common law, because we're all in a common law jurisdiction. So if you hear someone say, I'm under common law, they don't know common law. And and a lot of people seem to think that common law allows you to do anything you want. It doesn't. With freedom comes with great responsibility, I can assure you that. The same as with Article 61. Article 61 has parameters. Most people don't even seem to have read the damn thing, let alone understand what it actually means and what we do under it. This is what a lot of people don't get.
I mean, Danny's right. He just said to me, no, he don't get on. Everybody don't get on in the regiment, but when he comes on top, everybody's there for one another, and that's bang on, and that's what we should be doing now. We shouldn't be like when somebody comes up with a concept and that, we shouldn't all go and try and steal that and do our own version of it. We should say, right, we'll get behind this concept, see if it works. If that don't work, somebody else comes up with another concept, and you get behind that one until you find the one that does work. You don't start splitting off and dividing everybody in every different ways, because that's just going to weaken and dissolve what you're trying to do, and nothing's going to get done, because now the divides come again.
Well, exactly. This is what brings me back to when people say, over the last 3 years, we've tried everything. I can assure you haven't tried everything, because most of us sitting on this panel have been doing it for around about 10 years at least. And we tried most of what you did years ago. There's a hell of a lot more you haven't tried. You just don't want to or don't know about it. That's the problem. And rather than taking experience, people just want to take whoever's on Facebook the most. And this is the problem. Me and Gary said enough times, we're happy for people to come on and ask questions and stuff like that. At the end of the day, myself and Gary have both been in court, both proven things. Temmie, like you said, Temmie's been there, she's seen it. Enough other people have seen it. This is what we don't get. It's like Gary says, and it's like Danny's saying, it's like it's time to put your crap aside now. I mean, if you think that you're going to be the knight in shining armour that comes in and saves the day for everyone, you've got another thing coming, because you're not. The only time in history, if you actually bother reading your history, the only time in the history anything's ever been changed and we've defeated the powers that be is when everyone comes together.
Go on YouTube.
Oh, I haven't been on YouTube, you know, fine.
Hello, Trace.
It's all right now. If Tracy wants to listen, I'm just showing her where to go. I'll mute my mic a sec.
But this is the thing. It's happening. We've seen it so many times before. You get a lot of these people, and most of them charge money, and then start asking yourself a question: what have they done? What have you got for your money? This is the thing, because a lot of them are just spouting stuff they don't even know properly. I just don't get it. I really don't. It's coming to the point where it's becoming ridiculous now. It's like I said, it's upsetting, because there's a number of groups that are actually doing the Long March to Freedom 2 in the background, and every single one of us are kind of getting shat on, basically, because people want to try and hijack something and take it for themselves. Now, I can assure you that this other so-called Long Walk to Peace and Freedom, not a single person from any of that side of the camp has contacted anyone from any of the groups that are actually doing the Long March to Freedom at all. They've been told about it.
Yeah, but they don't even know what it is. It's just a name, but they don't know what the meaning. They got a meaning, but they don't know what the meaning is. So they're hijacking something that they don't know what they are doing or what for is there. And that's the
Well, this is the
annoying
thing.
thing.
But they haven't even contacted anyone to see what it is or to unite or anything like that. They're just doing their own thing. I mean, I have seen a couple of things from a couple of conversations, and generally it just seems to be that someone seems to have convinced a couple of groups that our march isn't what it is.
Yeah.
But why would they do that? And this is what I don't get. Why would somebody go out of their way to hijack and they've literally used every single word we've used because someone's watching our lives, because this is all things that have been said on our lives and that. They've literally hijacked all our wording, everything we're doing, and I really don't understand why they would do that. Why can't we all just unite? Because we all have something to bring to the table.
But that's the thing, Nathan, you know, is that what they want? Do they have the same aims as everybody else's, or is just them just to be there, just their name just to pop up everywhere, but be doing nothing? And there's a lot. This is the problem that there is. They just want their name to be there.
Well, as me and Gary said many times, look in history, the names of the people that really actually do, it's not going to be any of us, I can assure you. And I don't care who you are. No one's going to be going down in the history book saying, this is the man that did it all. Well, this is the woman that did it all, I can assure you. It never happens like that.
No.
Never.
The history books will always show that it was the people of the United Kingdom united and rose up to remove the tyranny and corruption from their lands. That's what it's going to say. Don't matter. Nobody's going to get. And what will happen is, quite rightly so, the Constitution and Article 61 will get the plaudits. And that's what should, because our ancestors have given blood, toil and tears and the lives and been slaughtered and everything to give us the right to go into 61. This is what people don't realise, what's actually people have been through to give us that document to protect us.
Yeah.
You know?
I think a lot of people are not aware of exactly what Article 61 is. They don't understand it. And that's where some of the problems are, because that's what this is what I get. What's the point? You know, it needs to be, I don't know, some explanation with some, you know, to make it easy for people just to get it. I know it's in English and all that, but it's still people still find it difficult to grasp.
Yeah. Well, he basically compels you to do it, doesn't he? It's saying to you, when tyranny and corruption and oppression is rife, it's not just your moral duty, but it's your lawful duty to enter 61 and remove it. It's what you should do. It's a given. And that's what the document's been put there for, to protect you so you can do that. And that's why these people are frightened to death of it, frightened to death of the people rising under that, because they know they've got no argument with that.
No, but
you know, because
then when you have people stating, "Oh, it's not there anymore. It's not constitution. We don't have a constitution," and people are stupid, you know, are listening to this, you know, without actually going and research it. It's very annoying, you know, that, you know, they come up with that, and groups are like that.
Oh, but we've got people on YouTube that put up the .gov and say there's only 4 statutes. We haven't got a constitution. What they don't realise is they're talking about 1297 Magna Carta, and they're actually down in our statute books as constitutional statutes. But these are the same people that are showing these for, saying we haven't got a constitution in Magna Carta. It's ridiculous. It's like the very tools we need to overthrow the king and parliament are within Magna Carta 1215, and people are going to believe the government when they say we haven't got a right to do it, and they're not enforced no more.
Exactly.
But this is what they've got to stop doing now. They've got to stop believing the government, because the government. Look at people have believed the government with what's just happened. Where's it got a lot of people very sick, etc. And some people have died through believing government on absolutely everything.
Yeah, I agree on that.
These people are not your friends. If you can't see now, your government's not your friend. They're there to try and enslave you, and you keep believing everything that they say, then more fool you.
They believe anything that is in the telly. That's the big problem. They sort of brainwash, towards that, and that is big problem. Newspapers, everything, that goes around. So it's all one-sided. If you will be putting the two sides, and then you choose what side you want to be, that's fine. But it's only one-sided at the moment with the government dealing.
But it's the thing, it's like with all the plagiarised things, all that happens is it's like, I would say, spot on, babe. 15 minutes of fame destroys it for everybody else. It's like literally just so you can get your face out there and get a few likes and shares and feel good, you're going to destroy any chance of any legitimate action. Like, I mean, you take something, Gary, you know this more than anyone. Look at some of the constitutional movements out there that haven't bothered to learn it, don't know what they're talking about, but yet has destroyed people's confidence in it because they was taught wrong. They taught other people wrong. They've been led down a garden path. Yeah. And they go, oh, it don't work. It's, oh, no, you didn't use it properly. Well, you get this thing where people go, oh, it's freedom of the land. Well, is Liz Truss freedom of the land? Is the House with Laws of England freedom of the land? Because this is the thing. Anyone who mentions Magna Carta or anything like that, apparently it's freedom of the land. And ignore these people. Because these people are using it. It's the same as calling someone racist and stuff like that. We've proven many, many times over the years in court and everything that what we state is true. You've had GB News come out and say we've got the Constitution and about Magna Carta. Myself and Gary done an interview with Golfy Boone not long ago going on about the Constitution, the fact we have one, and it is the all-bearing power over King and Parliament. People need to start listening.
It's sort of hard to reach the masses. That's the problem that we have. How do we reach them?
But it's the thing, this is where everybody plays their part. And this is what people got to realise. Everybody plays a part. So everybody should be sharing along March Freedom. Everybody should be helping everybody to get on it and get the information and be there. Not just share it once, it should be done continually. I think we've gone past the point now where we just keep sharing problems. I mean, we all know about the 15-minute cities. We all know about immigration. We've known about this for a long time. It's now, when are we going to get to solutions? Yeah. And you keep getting people that put their head above the parapet. I mean, look at it myself. I mean, I'm literally, I'm going to stop helping people with their court cases because the same thing is happening to me time and time again. I help people, and then rather than me pay the favour, and I don't ask for any money. We never do. We do everything we do for free. But you could propagate what we do. You could propagate the truth and the information. It's like the Freedom March things that say these guys actually do right. They know what they're doing. You could do that, but you don't. A lot of people do the same thing. It's like, well, I got off that one, and then they're gone. Yeah. And this is a problem. This is another reason why I'm sort of coming back from helping people with court cases, stuff like that, because it's never repaid. No one wants money, but it would be nice if you split. I mean, because you've been there, Temi, you've helped me with some cases. A lot of people don't realise how much time, effort, and everything has to go into doing it. So, and most of these people don't have to do a damn thing. We do it all for them. All they have to do is turn up to court and do it. All we ask them in return is, could you put the same amount of effort and passion into getting out the solution and bringing this solution about? And most of them be like, well, no, because then any excuse other than, yeah, of course I can.
Yeah, I've been there.
Rocky Rockstar, if there's anybody selling Article 61 online, that is a crime. It is free to everybody. You cannot sell it. It's there for every free man, free man and woman. It is not to be sold. It is to be given, the same as your rights. You can't sell someone their rights because you're committing a crime. But
also the problem is that people are misusing it, isn't it? Article 61 has been misused. Oh, I'm on Article 61. They say that they can do whatever they want, even breaking the law. And they don't understand that it doesn't work like that.
No.
Exactly. I mean, most people...
When you go in Article 61, you still have to remain in honour. And Rocky's right. We've said this many times, Nathan. Anybody who's offering to do your Article 61s, we'll fill them in and that. we'll give you all the stuff. It's 25 quid or whatever it is. They're in it for the wrong reasons. They ain't in it. They're in it for the money. We've never been in it for the money, and we never will be.
Exactly. Everything we've done, and we've been doing it a lot longer than most of these people, and everything we've done is for free because it is free. And I want to reiterate to everybody listening who does listen to this, your rights are free. Most people have seen my Facebook, if you tune in and seen the bit I put up about artificial rights and natural rights, it is your natural right to redress from tyranny. Nobody can charge you for that. At all. Nobody can charge you for that. They are your natural rights. You're born with them. So anybody who's trying to charge you for it, I mean, and your rights, like me and Gary talk about a long time, your unalienable rights can't be bought, sold, or transferred. So if anyone's doing this, they're doing wrong. They either don't understand it, or they are literally just trying to make money out of you. And that is a crime. It is a crime under our system.
Yeah. And how many times as well have we said to people that stop using human rights, stop using the Human Rights Act? It's what it is. It's an act. You've said this many times, Nathan. It's in the preamble. It's open to interpretation. Your unalienable rights are not.
Only it says in the preamble, only to be taken. It can only be it's to be taken into consideration. And this is the difference when we try and teach people. For instance, the difference between artificial and natural rights. The human rights under the UN and the European Convention of Human Rights, they are artificial rights. They are not natural rights. They can be taken from you at any point.
I've proven many times during the lockdown that unalienable rights trump human rights. I've used them. You've seen me use them, ladies and gentlemen. I've done videos and I've been going back and forwards to Belarus during the lockdown when they're saying you can't even leave your house, and I flew to Belarus because they cannot stop you. It's your inalienable rights. You've got the right to do that. It's what you're born to do. But as long as you keep listening to these people and using their rights, their acts, their system, you ain't never going to break free. You've got to show these people that, no, actually, you're wrong. You can't stop me doing that. I've got these rights. I've got those rights. And that's where people fall flat, because they suddenly be, oh, I can't do that. I'll get in trouble. No, you won't get in trouble.
No. They don't
because you're doing what God put you on earth to do. Live your life free and to do what you want, unhindered. And this is what these people have got in people's psyche and said, no. I know that's what you're supposed to do, but actually you've got to do what we say. It's time everybody got together and said, no, we haven't got to do what you say. We've got a right to live our lives. You only get one crack at these lives, ladies and gentlemen. So why would you want to live in fear and doing what these people want to say, what these people want you to do? Why not start uniting and doing what the people want to do, not what the rich elites want to do all the time?
Exactly. As my missus just said, she more than quite a lot of people realise how much time and effort goes into it, because the amount of time I've sacrificed in my relationship and that lot to help other people. And again, this is why it does upset me, because the amount of time I've helped other people is come away from my family, my missus and everything. I've had to take time away from them to help people. And then when it comes to repay that, by actually putting the solution out there and backing what we're doing, it's never there. So it's kind of a one-sided thing. And people like my missus pay the price as well. And this is what a lot of people don't get. It's like Gary was just saying there about doing things. Most of these people are claiming they've done everything. They've done everything the legal route. And as we've just explained to you, most people are using things like the Human Rights Act and stuff like that. Well, again, go and have a look at the original document. And in the preamble, it says they are only to be taken into consideration. So when you're going to police stations with a notice and all stuff like that, and you're doing it under your artificial rights as an artificial person's, they can just take it away, because they only have to consider your rights as an artificial person and only have to consider your artificial rights.
Yeah.
So that's why it doesn't work.
Yeah. Danny West just said in there that Dave Richard and Jamie Bennett was selling £50, something to do with the birth certificates. That was sovereign decrees. We all know where they end up. You're basically transferring everything over to the Vatican when you do that.
Yeah. Exactly.
But people don't want to listen. They think, oh, well, you're doing it for free, so it must be wrong. These are charging, so it must be right. That's not the case, because some people are there genuinely, and they're doing it for the right reasons. They've got a good heart, and they're doing it because they want to help you. They don't want to see you enslaved, and they know money's tight at the minute, and they're doing it for all the correct reasons. So don't always think just because somebody's charging and somebody's not, that the one who's charging is right and the one who's doing it for free is wrong. Because majority of the time, that's not the case.
Well, exactly. It's like with your inalienable rights and your common law rights and the Constitution. Nobody actually has the right to sell these to you or take these from you. So when they're charging you for this information, they're committing a crime. They are committing a crime, and this should show you that people don't know what they're doing, and this is a problem. A lot of it happens over Facebook. We've seen it with other different bits, not just the Constitution thing. I mean, I was talking to someone earlier and they said it's like you'll get somebody who will start a group. They'll have a hook, like, I don't know, it's like they're going to do this against, I don't know, like child grooming. Then next minute, you know, the whole group's full of them selling crystals and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's to make money. It's to give a hook. I mean, we've had it in the past with groups that we've had dealings with and literally massive arguments. Rick, you'll remember this one. You've been there quite most of the time. But we've had groups before because they will take what we say and use it as a hook because it's something people can trust and get behind. And then all of a sudden their true narrative will slip in and it'll be about giving money, things like that. It's like I've helped many people in court, but I don't give legal advice. And anybody that's dealt with me always gets told the same. I am not a professional. I don't claim to be a professional. I'm just trying to give you information. It's down to you whether you want to use it. But other people come along and they act like they are professionals. And most people don't give you the right information. You pay for it and then you pay for it twice because you go and try and use it and you land up with a conviction or you land up losing something.
Or you're told it's useless, it don't work.
Well, this is the part of the problem with things like constables and courts and that lot. Unless you get to a certain sort of height, I mean, especially magistrates, they ain't got a clue. But unless you get to a certain sort of level of judge or you get to a certain level of constable, they don't know because they're not taught it. They're not taught it. So we've got to educate these people. So a lot of it, they don't know. So a lot of people are expecting just, I mean, again, all four of us I know have seen this. How many times we've seen over the last 10 years, the amount of people who run around and just go, I'm under common law, no consent, no contract.
Yeah.
And they don't actually know what they're talking about.
Yeah. Well, it's like Danny just said, the veterans, when they was in London, and we was told we weren't wanted.
Yep.
But who helped the veterans in London? Who did the forward to get them out of shit? And who got them out of shit? Me and you.
Well, it's like Simon Bean said on the live with us a little while ago. It was me and you that actually got dealt with the police and actually sorted the situation out and allowed the vets to actually stay. There's many people who have claimed that they did it, but the whole thing about the whole of people shouting, just tell them to F off and stuff like that, and tell them this and tell them that, tell them you don't consent, that'll never work. But we used the law properly, and they was allowed to stay, and most of them was quite thankful for it. Yeah. Truth Crusader said, common law removed from the bar exam. Truth Crusader, you're exactly correct. In 1953, and you can look on the bar website, in 1953, common law and constitution, the whole exam was changed. So it was changed from a law exam to a legal exam. And then I think it was in 55, the education changed to that of a lawful education to a legal education. So since 1953, no judge, no barrister is really taught common law or the Constitution. They're actually taught that it's null and void. About 10% of the education and the exam is about constitutional law and common law, despite the fact that the Constitution binds the King and Parliament. It sets out the parameters of what they can and can't do. And Constitution also protects our common law.
Yeah.
Indeed.
And this is the thing. This is the difference of people who spent many years not only just researching this, but actually going to court and proving this,
Yeah.
but actually using it.
Yeah. I mean, you've only got to look at my court case with my house. The solicitor wanted to go. I had to use a solicitor because I wasn't in the country. I was actually still in Belarus at the time, but I instructed my solicitor, no, I'm paying you. You'll do it the way I want. I'll give it everything I wanted to be said in the court. She phoned me up and she was ecstatic. I played you the recording, Nathan.
Yep.
And I said, I'm over the moon. I've never seen it done before. 15 minutes, that was all I was in. I was in court 15 minutes and the judge threw the argument out and, you know, put the gavel down in your favour. I said, you've taught me something now. Well, I've got a tool to use because even I know now that common law works. And she said to me that she'd been going back and forwards in court sometimes between 2 and 4 years to get people their houses back. I went there once, 15 minutes. I instructed her what I wanted doing under common law. And there you go. Got my house back within 15 minutes. And that's fact.
And I just need to add, that wasn't just Gary writing that saying, I'm under common law orders, I say I don't consent.
No.
Gary actually set out his jurisdiction, his natural persons, everything like that. He done it completely correct and above board, and it worked.
Yeah.
I think we lost Rick. I was hoping he'd be on stay on for a bit.
Yeah, he'll be back. But yeah, so it can be done. And like you've been in court cases now for evil people and people from the gallery, you know, you was in one with somebody with something to do with car, where you control the court from the public gallery, and people was in there and saw that. You know, it's very powerful when you know what to say.
Well,
you know.
Truth Crusader, how do we get common law justice in a system that doesn't recognise common law, i.e. no training for the legal system? You get it by actually doing the process right. It's all about due process, and it's about doing it right. A lot of people don't want to learn how to do that process. I mean, again, it's down to things just as basic as learning the difference between natural person and an artificial person. A natural person could mean a few things, but it means a living man. An artificial person means a person. It means a body corporate. I mean, this is, I mean, have a look at my Facebook page. I put a page from a book I have called Blackstone Commentaries, The Laws of England in 4 books. And it sets out and it tells you the difference between artificial persons and natural persons and the rights you actually have underneath it.
And it also proves to you that the governments are not sovereign. That they are like the kings of legislation and that, and that they can do all that sort of thing, but they're not sovereign. And
that's exactly it. Parliament creates legislation. Legislation is not laws. I know people get confused about that, but they're not. No. It's actually juries. It's actually the common man and juries that create law. Law doesn't change. Things like murder never changes. But legislation can be changed by any form of government. That's why people need to actually look and read. I mean, this is what me and Gary and others have done for many years. We do all the hard work, so we put you to the sources. We basically, instead of you having to do what I do and read, if you could see it, I've got loads of books behind me. Instead of you having to read things and things, we try and cut all the crap out for you and teach you the bits in a way that's manageable. But you have got a lot of people out there that have got half a truth. They teach you it, and the people go wrong with it. But you have to learn your standing, which is the first one. And most of us know that we are not a body corporate. We're not a corporation. But people have also got to understand how you use your corporation and how your corporation has been used against you. It sounds very complicated, but it's actually not when you actually sit down and you boil it down to its basic finite points. It's just been made to sound complicated, so you just walk away from it. It's like politics. It's been made to seem boring, so you ignore it and like, I'll just leave it to them, not in Parliament. But you don't understand that politics involves every single bit of our daily life. So it's time that we understand that half the reasons why we have the problems in our societies, we have the crime to do, like the abuse of our children, is because of politics, because of legislation. We actually have within our laws, within our constitution, there is laws that are about 4,000 years old, that it's against the law and against the constitution to abuse your child, to abuse your wife, and to abuse animals. We actually have that within our constitution.
Yeah. Exactly. How many times as well have we told them, stop going after the politicians when you've got things? Politicians have got no power. It's your councils that have the power. It's your councils that'll be putting all these street lamps up, etc. So it's your council, the CEO of that council where you are. Them are the people you've got to go after in the private capacity, because they're causing loss and harm and trespass on a sovereign, and you should be holding them to account. And then that's when the politician will have his ass kicked. A lot of people think these politicians have got more power than they have, and they haven't got any power, really.
No, this is the thing. Even councils haven't, technically speaking. A lot of it does boil down to public servants, sort of thing, like ministers and stuff like that. But you've got to understand, how to do something in someone's private capacity. I mean, if you're going to go and try and bring a case against a council, that is an artificial thing. It's a body corporate. It's a fiction. A fiction can't cause you harm, but the man, the woman acting in an office within that corporation, their physical actions of what they did can cause you harm. And this is where people need to differentiate. The same as with common law and what you do. You have to start being responsible for yourself.
Yeah. That's why do you think they love it when you take the police, like round here, it's West Midlands Police, love it when I take them to court, but they don't love it when I take the constable to court in his private capacity. Well, they don't care because they just throw him under the bus, but the constable ain't very happy when I take him to court, but he's quite happy to let me take West Midlands Police to court because it's a legal fiction. So, and they just get rid of that constable and replace him with another one. And, but when you start taking them in the private capacity, it starts hurting their bank accounts, their standing in the community. That's when, you start seeing a change. Because then I suddenly realise, shit, I am responsible for what I do. And he's just proved it.
Again, that's the difference. This is the problem with a lot of people, because you have standing and you have status. Most people chase their status. That's why you get a lot of people going, oh, it's like people on benefits. So I pay your benefits. I'm a taxpayer. Actually, taxpayers don't pay benefits. If you actually bother to read anything I've got on Facebook, I can conclusively prove that as a beneficiary, exactly, as a beneficiary of your trust, you can get payments from your trust. And that's what benefits are. You're just tricked to attack people on benefits because it's better than attacking the people that are actually taking your taxes and giving them to other people or countries or their mates. And this is what we've got to get over. If you want status, if you think owning a car, owning a house makes you a better person, then by all means, crack on with your status. But if you want to be an upstanding member of your community, then you need to do what's right. And as it states in most of the books, I think, and most of the things I put out, law is very simple. It's a matter of what's right and what's wrong. I mean, at the moment, like I said, it's like we're going about councillors, but even going after council, they have no power. There's nothing you can do. You are not going to stop that until we actually walk away from it and delegitimise it. While people are voting, you're legitimising what the Parliament's doing, and then you're legitimising what the ministers are doing, everything like that. We need to actually reset the thing, and that means we're going to have to start really, really having a backbone, and we're going to have to start saying no. Not in my name, and that it means more than just saying not in my name, more than just putting on a Facebook post. You have to learn how to take yourself away from that, giving them consent.
Yeah. Well, you're going to have to read the comments now because my battery's just gone on the other phone, so I can't see the comments no more.
Danny, actually, you was mentioning this earlier. Danny just said about the £1,600 per month.
Yeah, shocking. Really shocking. I mean, you think about that for a minute. there ain't many now in today's society who do 40 hours. It's usually split. You know, like when you work at Asda or whatever, you'll get one person will have a 20-hour and the other person will have a 20-hour shift. And when you work in the factories, you're probably on a 30-hour shift. You're very lucky to take home £400 after tax in any job now, unless you're an electrician, plumber, or something like that. And yet these people are going to come in here, ain't got to do nothing for it, put in posh hotels, and said, right, there's £1,600. And I've seen something, I think it was in the same article, where now they're doing it with minors. So if you're 14, 15, you're still going to get this money, even though you're only 14, 15, because they're saying you're entitled to it. Well, I think that's a disgrace, and I can't understand why people are standing for that when you get the people who, you know, lose a job for no reason of their own. They suddenly get £340 a month, and these are going to get £1,600 a month. I mean, this would never happen in any other country, ladies and gentlemen. I can tell you for one, it would definitely never happen in Belarus. 1,000%, because they don't have them in the first place. There's no benefit system in Belarus. If you ain't working in Belarus, you have to go busking or something, because if you don't work, it costs us, you don't want to contribute. If you, I'm not about now, disabled people do. If you're in a wheelchair, etc., yes, you do. You get benefits. But people who are classed as physically able, you know, who are just, oh, I've got a bad back or whatever, these people, well, no, we don't believe you unless you go and have all the tests. But if you don't work, they say, well, you're a fit able man, there's work out there, it's not our fault you don't want to work. And they don't pay you, Nathan. 1,000%.
I know.
They don't pay you.
Spoke to you about it before. Well, this is
But
the
over
thing,
here is even more difficult now, because not having the job centers where you have to go and sign in. Now I know people that they're actually in Bangladesh, India, and Pakistan. They over there and they claiming over here. Why is that being allowed?
well, this is the thing about
many.
taxpayers' money. This is where your taxpayers' money is actually going. It's not going to the hard people that are hardship with that lot in this country, because that comes out your trust. You should say, don't want you to take equity from the trust because they reap that. But this is where taxpayers' money is going. It's not going to the council. It's not going to fix our roads. It's not going to pick up our rubbish like people think. It's being put elsewhere. And this is where, at one point, everybody's going to have to just look at this properly and just go, no more.
Yeah.
People need to stop paying their council tax. That's what they need to do. Start there.
Well, this is the thing. The more we give these people money, the longer they're going to go. And this is the thing. And this is why a lot of people go, oh, you're not allowed to stop taxes and things like that. Yeah, and they're not. And if you put it this way, if you're giving the council money and it's meant to be spent on something and they're not spending it on that, they're spending it on something else, then they shouldn't be doing that either. So you have the right to withhold your payment until they actually put it on the stuff they meant to be putting it on.
Yeah.
The
The average wage in Belarus is 250 rubles a week. That's not very good money when you look at it, because it's 3 rubles 50 to the pound. Not very good money at all. But that's what they get on an average. So that's 1,000 rubles a month. Now, if all of a sudden Lukashenko was to say, right, we're having these people come in and we're going to give them 2,000 rubles a month, there'd be a revolution in Belarus, guaranteed. Because they would not stand for that. But we seem to stand for any old bullshit over here. You know, oh, you can do this, you can do that. And now you're going to give them this money and they can still phone Ubers to take them to the appointments, or if they need to go anywhere, they can still phone a pizza and we'll still pay for that as well on top. It's just, they can't mock us any more than they are, in my opinion. And we're just standing for it.
This is what people have got to get to terms with. I mean, you know as well as I do, Gary, we've read through the same documentation. I understand like the cost of living, and people were sort of saying, oh, it's hard and that lot, so people going to work. It's like, I can't take a week off, I've got to work. What you don't realise is you won't have a job soon. You
No.
won't. There's a reason why they want to bring in digital currency and the universal living wage. You won't have a job. I mean, look around you. Look at supermarkets. They're automating them soon, and they're already trialing certain things. Even the police have got to realise this. We was discussing the other day, Gary. They've
Yeah.
got the amount of CCTV going up. They've got robot dogs being trialled in Scotland and north of England and stuff like that. Soon you'll have a skeleton force of people just to come and pick you up, or your bank will be shut down until you walk into a police station.
Yeah.
All our
They'll be
jobs are going.
obsolete.
Yeah.
Constables will be obsolete. They've no pensions anymore. Them have gone. And they don't even realise that. We've educated a lot of them on that, though. And we've proved to them that there's no police pensions anymore. And the ones that are, it's sort of, you think you're getting 100%, you'll be lucky to get 30%. We've proved it all. And the police are still blindly serving these people. And we've said this as well, the police don't realise whatever they're implementing with us, they're implementing for their future generations as well, because not everybody in their family will be a policeman
It's not-
or police
they're-
constable.
Well, they're bringing back the feudal system, so you're going to have the rich and the poor. Unless you're a billionaire, you're poor. Millionaires are going to be classed as poor. And when they, like, take digital banking currency, you'll only, and I said this a long time ago, my missus can vouch this, you can vouch this, Gary, I said this a very long time ago. Their intention is that you're only ever allowed £20,000 maximum. So all the millionaires out there, your bank account is about to basically be taken from you. You're allowed 20 grand in there at any one time. They may do somewhere where it's in lieu, but you're never going to be able to climb that scale. We are going back to how it was in the 1800s. It's absolutely abhorrent, and it's going to affect everybody. It's like you say, Gary, with the constables. What happens when all these constables that help implement all this have to return to their communities because they're out of a job?
Yeah.
Think about it. Think about when you have to go to your communities and you have to look people in the eye, knowing
Yeah.
that you're part of the reason why they are in the situation
Yeah.
they're in.
Yeah, and then when you go out for a walk with your wife and your children, when you're a police constable that's no longer needed, and you're going for a walk, you know, somewhere in the countryside or whatever, or you leave your house to go and walk round the block or whatever, then you got one of them dogs coming to tell you, get back in your house, it's not safe, etc. You're suddenly going to realise, shit, look what I've implemented. That's me that's done that. You need to really think serious, long and hard if you're a police constable now. Unless you're just a psychopath who loves what you're doing, then obviously you ain't going to think of that. Or your children, because you've got no empathy and no compassion, and then you're just a scumbag if you're doing that.
Exactly. Check out the international health regulation amendments me and Gary have been speaking about. There's part 1 and 2. We're going to finish the rest of it soon. It pretty much tells you in that. And then look at the 15-minute cities, and then look at what it says in the amendments. It is telling you that they are going to control all media. So while we've got a chance to talk amongst ourselves and organise and stuff out, we need to put our stuff aside and do it. Because sooner or later, you will have an area designated to you, and you will not be allowed to know what is outside that area. You'll be told what they want you to know, and they will control all forms of information. It is literally in their amendments, and they yet again done this in secret. 193 countries, including our own, has already agreed to this.
Yeah. I just want to it's unbelievable, but this is what's happening. I can tell you now, ladies and gentlemen, if you think that will never happen, I can tell you now that my wife and her mother, now yes, Belarus ain't a rich country, and in comparison to here, the wages are 250 rubles a week is good in Belarus. It is, because I mean, a packet of cigarettes is 3 rubles 50, which is £1 for 20 cigarettes. So, you know, and the beer's cheap and everything else, and the food is cheaper. It's not cheaper for them, but it is for us. If you went there with £100, you'd think you was a millionaire with the fags and the beer you could buy. But for them, it's, you know, it's a lot of money to spend on that. But what happened with the crash, when it crashed, and you'll all remember this when the Soviet Union collapsed, my wife and her family and mum as well, they got up one morning, they went to the bank to put the bank card in, and all the accounts was registering zero. That's how I know that this can happen, and it probably will happen, because
it's happening across the world.
I've seen it happen with my wife. My wife told me everything that went on, and they said everybody was shocked, but there was nothing you could do about it, because the people didn't see it coming and nobody stood up. Now we know it's coming because there's plenty of warnings, and yet we're still doing nothing. So we go to that bank and we've got zero in your account. But it'd be too late then.
I mean,
So I've been trying to ring. Sorry, 2 seconds, Nate. I've been trying to ring the alarm bells because I can see, because I've studied the Russian, because of my wife. I've studied what's been happening with Russia from sort of 1900 to today, the last 123 years. So I've seen how that went, and the comparisons with what's happening here now, and the comparisons between like the mid-80s to when it crashed is exactly what's been happening here the last 15, 20 years. Exactly the same mirror image. But people don't seem to want to grasp that it's going to happen. I've got a niece who thinks, I just want to go on holiday. And when I tell her that under this Agenda 2130, that she won't be going anywhere after 2030, there'll be no flights out of the UK, no boats out of the UK, so cruises are off the agenda for holidays as well. She looks at me like, you know, I'm this demon who's like trying to put a downer on a day. She doesn't want to do any research, but she's going to come. She's one of the ones who's going to come down to earth with a big, massive bump when it happens. And she's going to think, what's happening here? But then, like I've said to her, be too late then, Lisa. Too late.
Well, look what happened. Look what's happened recently. I mean, very recently. I mean, a lot of people thought that they would never try and take our freedom of speech. They would never take our right to protest. Well, Parliament have tried taking our right to protest. So we can't. Basically, in a nutshell, they're saying that we are not allowed to get upset about what they do, and if we do, then we're criminals. They even pass a motion to try and stop people striking. So imagine that. Parliament tried passing a bit of legislation that means that you'll work no matter what. You're not allowed to strike. You're not allowed to stand up for yourselves. You'll give, and then when they do say you'll owe nothing and be happy, they mean a lot more than that. Look at what our Parliament have done with the strike thing. They're basically saying you'll just work for whatever we're given. You'll be happy with it.
Yeah. And the other thing we've addressed many times, Nathan, the only way to sort this is to do what we've got to do, and that is to unite and take it back. I mean, that's another slogan that the government pinched off us.
Yep,
take back control. That was a dragon saying. But anyway, I digress. The only way to get this back is to do what we've got to do now, unite and take it back. Because if people think they're going to go off grid and live a happy life off grid, no chance. These people are not going to let you do that. They might let you do it for a couple of years or 4 to 5 years while they're getting everything in place. But once they've got everybody else enslaved, all you people that they've let go off grid, they'll just come and finish it off. Because it's their way or the highway. They won't hesitate to drop a dirty bomb or whatever over an area where you're all living. If you think they will, you're deluded.
I'll give you a case in history. Take when the Magna Carta was done. You had the people in the forest and the fields, and you had the people in the towns and the hamlets. Both lived separate lives, different communities, but every single one was affected. We had the same back then. People were stopped gathering fuel for their fires, so they were stopped cooking. They were stopped from heating their homes. They do it time and time again. This is nothing new. People together we are strong. If we keep dividing into our own little groups and stuff like that, then we are weak. This is why every single cause, and this is why Long March to Freedom 2 is happening, and it was done because every single cause out there is legitimate. Every single cause out there, and every group that's fighting their cause has a place.
Yeah. And everything they're doing to them people in them causes is bang out of order, like the chemtrailing, etc., child grooming. It's all bang out of order. So they're all correct, but you're doing it wrong. You've got to unite and sort it all out as one.
Rocky Rockstar, as I said, we need to share, but Facebook putting everything out of sight. No one's seeing any of the stuff we're sharing. We need another way now. Well, me and Gary may be able to help you with that. Myself and Gary will be going on to internet radio on a private server. So the government has no restrictions upon us on that server.
Can't stop us saying what we want to say.
Yeah.
And
Exactly.
do you want to tell them the name, Nathan?
No, go on, you can.
We're going to be called Resistance Radio UK, ladies and gentlemen. That's what we're going to be called. And we're going to be doing plenty of shows, a bit like Mr. Lang does on Restoration, where
Well,
it's a free-for-all. You can say what you like and they cannot stop it. They cannot shut you down or anything. The message will get out.
Exactly. Resistance Radio. If you say, or people can submit some names and that lot, if they like, sort of thing. But we will be going on to an internet radio. It is a private server, so we can speak freely. We'll be having many different shows on that radio station. So there'll be some music shows, there'll be some chat shows. It's going to be a platform that is one we can all get behind. Where the truth can actually be told and people can actually say what they need to say. There will be, because the internet server itself doesn't have a chat room function, but there will be ways we can have a chat room. It's just like, for instance, you'll have to say we do have a YouTube, the chat will be in there, but you'll have to have 2 tabs open. So you listen to the radio on one tab and then you go over and go into the chat room, but you'll still be able to chat. There'll be ways where you can see us and see what's happening and we can share information. But this is an unrestricted, uncopyrighted, completely private server. And we will sort out some sort of chat room. So this Resistance Radio, or like me and Gary says, please, if you got some better names, put some ideas out. This is going to be a people station, so it's going to be what you lot make it, basically.
And if if somebody wants to come on and they've got the truth about chemtrailing or global warming, etc., they can come on. They can tell the truth and they're not going to be silenced like they are on mainstream.
Yep. Again, you'll be able to see visuals, so the information will be able to be shared, documents will be able to be shared, and best of all, like me and Gary keep saying, people can give you the unvetted truth.
Yeah, it ain't going to be, well, I'm going to share this and now they're going to take it off the air. They can't do it.
Nope.
So it's something to look forward to, and
yes, and it should be up and running relatively soon. So keep an eye on that. We will be putting it out. We'll notify everybody. But yeah, a new platform is coming.
Brilliant.
And again, it's going to be in conjunction. And that's another thing we can't think is talking about Mr. Lang. It will be in conjunction with Restoration Radio.
Yeah, and also
CMW.
And the Dragons, ladies and gentlemen. The Dragons are coming back.
They are very much indeed. The Dragons and CMW are going to be working together in the future. The Dragons are coming back and they'll be working with CMW. Many things are happening, and this is why it upsets us about this march in certain things, because there is a lot of unity going on. Unfortunately, we have a few people that are spoiling it. I don't understand why.
Yeah. But yeah, so if you miss the Dragons and you love the Dragons, they are coming back, ladies and gentlemen. So we had a chat with Mr. Lang the other day, and he was more than happy.
Because Stephen Lang Stephen
Pushed
Lang is
it.
the sole. Stephen Lang is the sole owner, and it doesn't matter what anyone else says. Stephen Lang is the sole owner and runner of the White Pen Dragons now, or the Dragons. So anybody else that claims they are that's not in line with Stephen is lying. The true Dragons are coming back.
I'm excited because, like you say, and we said this on his live show the other day, we may be CMW, we've got a special place in our hearts for the Dragons who was room long enough.
Well,
so we'll always
yeah.
support them. So
exactly, Gary and myself was actually two of the leaders at one point of the Dragons.
you may even see us. You may even see us on some of our lives wearing the logo to support to get it back off the ground.
And again, this should show people. I mean, we're both constitutional groups and we're both supporting each other. So I can't understand why other groups can't support each other.
Exactly.
Again, lead by example. This is where people could really start to see that we can do this. Everybody has their place. Everybody can help in this.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's you know, there's plenty of stuff going on and a lot to be. There's a lot to be, what's the word I'm looking for? Excited, not excited, but a lot to be, what's the word I'm looking for now? Help me. My brain's mashed.
Hopeful?
No, it's like hopeful, but it's optimistic.
No, Danny, it doesn't. They will have nothing to do with it. Optimistic. There you go, Truth Crusader. I think that fits best.
Yeah.
There's a lot to be optimistic about. Thank you, Truth Crusader. You hit the nail on the head there.
Yeah.
But no, like I said, with the Dragons, as far as I'm concerned, that is Stephen Lang's thing. Everybody else that was part of the Dragons is now no longer part. So Stephen will be raising the Dragons from the ashes. He's a sole owner. Nobody else has claim to that because everybody was either kicked out or walked away. So it's down to Stephen who he brings in and what he does. Myself and Gary as the custodians of CMW, we have basically gave Stephen a promise that we will work together, and he's done the same. So CMW and the Dragons will be working together. These are it was when me and Gary was part of the Dragons that we actually did the whole arresting of Khan. Then it moved over to CMW, and it was CMW that pushed it and managed to get it to force the police to back them charges with evidence of crimes proven. So we can prove that both groups can do very well, and we are going to be doing very well in the future.
Well, Steve will get his own. He's got his own ideas. He knows who he wants to, you know, who his team's going to be. So, you know, I'm sure you'll know more. Yeah.
But yeah, a lot to be optimistic about, a lot to be positive about, as Rocky Rockstar says. There's a lot. This is the thing. There's a lot going on behind the scenes. A lot happening. There's a lot of unity.
Is there any chance of bringing the Khan stuff again now, especially with this ULEZ that he wants to introduce or is introducing? There might be more people.
Very much so. Very much so. We can actually take that off the shelf and we can redo it. Because a lot of what is in that, there is no statute limitations. And again, not just the Dragons and CMW, all the other groups out there can actually add, if they get evidence of MPs and councillors that doing crimes of sedition, treason, malpractice, because malpractice at common law still holds up to life in prison, they can actually get that to us, and then as multiple groups we can all work together to actually prosecute these people.
Yeah.
Because it might be one way to unite people now. If everybody's quite angry about what's going on and they don't want it, so I think maybe now is the right time to
exactly. Well, this is what a lot of the true Long March for Freedom and other bits actually entails. It entails there's many parts to the true March to Freedom too, many parts, and this is part of it. It's a part of actually bringing justice to our lands once more and stopping these people. But we need unity. We need all groups to work together. As we say, every group has a place. It's like, for instance, you say, Tammy, with the charges that we got the police to back. every group can help us add to them charges, so we can add more MPs, more councillors, more government officials.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what we're trying to say, sir. When Mr. Lang approached us, and that we was more than happy when he said it, because, like I said, we have a special place for the Dragons in our hearts, but we didn't go, oh, no, that's old, that's a no, like some people would have, because we realise unity is the key.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just because, even if we hadn't got a special place in our heart for the Dragons, we would have still said, yeah, not a problem, because it's a name that was prominent in the truth movement, and it's good to have them back, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean,
That's
I'm not
my
funny.
opinion, anyway.
We have some of the original members, because a lot of people don't realise this. The Dragons was actually formed within a chat group, just like you lot are sitting in now. We've got Emma there. We had Kim Brunger, myself, Gary. We was all part of the group that was in the chat that actually formed the Dragons, and then we asked Stephen Lang, Graham Moore, and David Russell to head it up, and it went on from there. It's coming back. It's just two of the original people asked to head it up will no longer be involved with it, as far as I know. But Stephen Lang will be heading it up, and it will be coming back. They're going to do it properly, so it's not going to be a political movement like it was tried to be. It's going to go the way it should have gone in the first place.
Yeah, it'll be a constitutional pressure group.
I think so. Well, it's up to Stephen how it goes things out, but
That's what I got out of it. But Stephen will tell you himself when he's ready. But he just wanted us to give you the heads up that that is happening again, and we're more than happy to be part of that. As many others should. The Dragons was ahead of the time, really.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we done the arrest at the Fabian Society 5 years ago, 2 years before most people even started to be activists. But again, the same thing. This is what you can, most people in different groups, you can support CMW and the Dragons. There is talk about some blended T-shirts so you can support both at the same time. There's different bits in the pipeline. There is a lot going on, actually, a lot. And myself and Gary be doing more lives. Stephen's going to be doing more shows. A lot more.
So if you've got any Dragon T-shirts, get them out and wear them proud, because they're coming back.
Yep. I've even been asked by a few people that do know if I could do, because I used to do a lot of the designing of the T-shirts and the logos myself. Actually, me and one other person who was printing the T-shirts in the Dragons, the ones that actually designed all the logos and everything. He's no longer with us, sadly, but I've been asked by many people if I can blend CMW and Dragons so they can support the both into things like, so because we need things like this back so they can you can have on your Facebook profile, your Facebook picture as both of them. So I shall be doing that soon. It's time to bring our flags, our banners, and start bringing ourselves back to the forefront. The worst thing we ever did, and another thing that's been plagiarised, what we said, the worst thing we ever did was stop highlighting ourselves, our groups, and our causes. This is why on the Long March to Freedom, we want to see your banners, we want to see your flags, we want to see your causes. If you're fighting for the children, if you're fighting against ULEZ, it doesn't matter. We want to see them all. Let's show the world exactly what's wrong and what we're fighting for.
Yeah. And by the way, before anybody starts, not you guys, but before anybody else, you're just no, we're not in it for the money. What happens with the Dragon T-shirts is we'll get somebody to print the Dragon T-shirts off a shop or something, and you will deal directly with that shop. We don't see no money. We're not interested in making any money. But if people, we just put you in touch with people. If you want to show that you support CMW, the Dragons, or both, you can go and buy a T-shirt from a shop, nothing to do with us, and pay for it and show your support. We don't make, or the Dragons will not make a penny from any of this.
Exactly. CMW, we already have our official merchandise maker. and I can assure
Yeah.
you that person doesn't make any money whatsoever.
No.
They do it for cost, for the greater good.
Yeah.
And again, me and Gary and CMW receive no money whatsoever, and the person can vouch for that. I don't know if that person wants to speak up or not and let themselves be known, but they can do if they want to.
Yeah, I would be doing the t-shirts at cost. I won't charge any extra or anything like that, just the cost of the post, and that's it.
So when you get a t-shirt, all you'll be paying for is what it involves to print that t-shirt. So yeah, there'll be a bit of electric, cut a few p going to the electric, the ink and the t-shirt itself, but you'll be paying cost. So whatever it costs to make it, you'll be paying it. There is no profit here.
Yeah, you'll
So
just
what
be
we
paying
do,
for the t-shirt, the logo, and the posting. That's all you'll be paying for. You
That's
won't
it.
pay nothing else.
exactly, no profit is being made. Again, with CMW and the Dragons, everything is non-profit. We don't like PayPal patriots and these people who fleece people for money. This is about helping people help other people, and to show, I mean, Gary, you remember this back in the day, when we used to turn up en masse with our t-shirts, it sent a message, and this is what we need back. So
Yeah, when the Dragons used to go with all the different black and white, red and white flags, all the t-shirts, the black and white and red and white t-shirts, it was a sight to behold, to be honest, when we used to go out places, because you know, it was fantastic. I've got to be honest.
I think what we'll do is I'll try and help you set up a group or something, Temi, to take orders and stuff like that, and then to display certain bits, and all that's going to come soon. But it's now time to all start being loud and proud. Again, the Dragons and CMW, we have our pedigree. You won't find anybody that will say we've scammed them or anything like that, because we never have. Like I said, everything's been done for free because these are your rights. We will never charge you for these rights. It benefits us all if we know our rights. So let's start uniting. Let's get on board. Let's start getting behind this. Let's start getting behind each other. The same with other constitutional groups. They're more than welcome to come on the Long March to Freedom, because let's face it, we can't be everywhere. We can't do everything. So we would like the support of other constitutional groups and common law groups that actually know what they're doing, to actually help us complete everything we're going to do, because it's not just one thing we're going to be doing.
Yeah. And looking in the chat now if I've got some power back in my phone, everybody's saying that Resistance UK is a perfect name.
Resistance Radio UK is it?
Yeah.
So that's going to be coming up, and we'll be sorting that very soon. As again, it'll be in conjunction with Restoration Radio, the Pendragon, CMW, and any other groups that would like maybe a slot on the station, or anybody else that would like a thing. Please contact us, and we'll see if we can arrange that in the future. This is a radio station that can literally run 24 hours a day. So if you want a slot, whether it be regular or one show, or to put out some information, please contact us, and we'll make sure you get a place on this and you can give your truth without Facebook bans, without being blocked, without being controlled. This will be a completely open and new platform. We are literally what we said with Stephen Lang the other night. It's pretty much what the Levelers movement did a few centuries ago. We are literally going to take back the printing press. So this is an internet radio station. So all you need is internet access. You can listen to it in your car, at work, wherever you are. You can listen to it.
Yeah, exactly. So, you know, the future will be what you make it, ladies and gentlemen. If you lose the fear and you show these people you ain't bothered, they're not going to intimidate you. You're going to live as you intended. You know, a free spirit to do what you want to do, and there's nothing they can do about it. Then that's how you take back control. What we've always said with the Dragons, and you can show all the corruption with the water and the electric, how it's already paid. by the National Grid, and now they're charging you for it twice. All these things can come out, and you know what I mean, Nate? It can all come out, can't it? If everybody sticks
Exactly.
together.
Exactly. We're going to put. This is the whole point. We're going to provide a platform. You might have to mute when I'm talking, Gary, because it comes through rumbling from my end.
Okay.
But
Carry on.
yeah, we're basically creating a platform. Like we say, no copyright. It's not going to be so. All groups, or even if you're on your own and you want a show on there, get in contact. We're going to build a platform so the people get the complete and real truth. And this is something that is not restricted by the government. It's not restricted by YouTube or anything like that. This is a completely private server, and we're not going to say where it is, but it's nowhere where they can get to. So they can come around our hours as much as like. They will never get to this server. So let's start building something. This is where unity is key. This is why we're trying to lead by example. This is why we're trying to say to people, we will let you use our platform. We'll give you a place on our platform. Let's all start coming together. Let's all start doing this. If we work together, we will win. We will do this. But if we keep working against each other and separate, it is so much easier for them to take us down. Because you've got to imagine this. One small group fighting one cause can be wiped out. But if all the groups unite en masse, they can't take us all down, can they? So like I said, many things coming. Stephen Lang, he's bringing back the Dragons. So the Dragons are going to be back. CMW will be helping with that, and we will be supporting them, like sister movement type things. So, and there's no reason why you can't support both. Again, like I said, there can be T-shirts made and stuff like that, so you can support both and stuff like that. Look out for my Facebook and stuff like that, or contact somebody that's in CMW, and I'll see about getting. Have you unmuted again, Gary?
Yeah. I just wanted to say this. Danny's just put in there lawful resistance UK. Maybe.
Well, like I said, if people want to throw out some more options, then like I said, we did this with Constitutional Movement Worldwide, and it was the group itself and the people in the movement that ended up deciding the name. So like I said, this is going to be a people station. So this is a station by the people for the people. So it's what we make of it together, working together, united. So that's going to be pushing forward. The Dragons coming back. CMW are going to be doing lots more. Let's start doing this. Let's start and it's every single one of our jobs. So it's not just our job to contact other movements and other groups. You can contact them yourselves and say, look, everybody needs to get on this. We all need to start doing the groundwork. We all need to start doing the legwork and the donkey work. If we all play our part of uniting each other together, we can do this. Because it's like the Long March for Freedom too. There is no leader. Not one group. Yes, CMW may have come up with a concept and a lot of what's going on, but we are not going to be leading it. We do it together, shoulder to shoulder. No egos, no one leading the charge. We do it together. And that's what we're doing. We're trying to lead by example.
Yeah. And when we do that, like we've said before, it's children friendly. We want you to bring all your banners, and then when we set up the camp each night, maybe one night somebody will step forward and say, I'm from, child grooming. I want to talk to you all about child grooming, blah, blah, blah. With them, we know all about what their cause is all about. The next night it might be somebody standing up and saying, well, I'm here because of the chemtrails. And they tell us all about the chemtrails. So not only are you bonding on the way, you're also learning all about each other's cause. So you've got a better understanding of what we're all there for, what each individual cause means, as well as the unified cause. So you get a better understanding, and then that way you build a bond in your family and everything else. And we're going to make it fun for the children as well during the day, etc. So it's going to be good. So we ain't going to say too much, but That's basically what we're going to be doing.
Yeah, you're gonna have to
So
mute
it
your
won't be
mic.
boring. It's not going to be boring.
You're gonna have to keep muting your mic, otherwise it just sounds really bad. Have you got your headset in?
Yeah, my headset's in.
I don't know then.
I'll finish talking now, so I'll let you go back. I'll turn it off again.
All right. Well, this is the thing. It's like Gary says. That there's a lot that's going to be done. This whole point. Most of you will think if you listen to one group, you'll know everything. But I can assure you, take the ULEZ for instance. I can assure you that you could have 3 different groups speaking over 3 different nights, and you'll hear something from each group that the others didn't tell you. Like I said, everybody has a part to play. Everybody can input something into this. It's about all of us, because not all of us. Imagine it as a jigsaw. We all have a piece of that jigsaw. When we start putting that jigsaw together, we'll get the bigger picture, and that's what this needs. And it's not just about having speeches and stuff like that. This march leads to something we're going to do at the end. Okay, it leads to something we're going to do to the end. The march has a lot to do with it while we're going through it. As Gary says, it's child friendly. A lot of people say about their children being at school, things like that. This will probably be one of the biggest life lessons you could probably ever let your children be on, because not only will there be educational stuff on there, it will be the biggest life lesson I'd ever seen, because this is the reason why it was called, and I'm going to get Gary to explain a bit more, but there's a reason why it's called a Long March to Freedom too. Okay. It is multifaceted. It come about one idea, but there is so much more behind it. Your children will literally on this march learn how much freedom means, and what it and the detail and what has happened in the past to make sure they have the freedoms that they enjoy now. And I'm quite sure a lot of the adults will learn a lot as well. We're going to try and make it a bit of fun on that as well. We're going to try and make it a little bit fun, a little bit educational. That's what CMW are going to do. Other groups are going to help out and do their bits in that as well. There's going to be different things along the way. This is a no frills thing as well, people. So don't think that you're going to be put up in 4-star hotels or anything like this. This is going to be grassroots, going back to very, very basics. This is why we're giving so many people so long, because you've got to remember, you've got to carry your equipment. So even though there will be parts where everybody can join and everyone's got a place on this, so you don't have to do the whole march. If you don't want to, you can come and join for 1 or 2 sections of it, or you can meet us at the end. There is also going to be a part to play, and I know a lot of disabled people who can't walk, or people that think they can't manage the full march. There is you're going to be involved as well. There's going to be something you can do, so stay tuned as well. Those of you that are able to camp out, you may want to get some camping equipment as well. Doesn't mean that you have to be on the march, but at the end of it, you can come and join us. But it's going to involve everybody, every walk of life, everyone who's capable and who are not capable. Everybody means something. Everybody has their place. I don't care if you're disabled. I don't care if you're old, young. You all matter. And you all have a place, and you will all play your part in this. You will all play your part one way or another. So nobody's going to be left out, and we will definitely not leave no man behind. So this is the thing. The only problem is we can't release too many details, because anybody that's been in this movement longer than a couple of years will understand. The more you put out, the easier it is to stop it. The more you put out, the more it's hijacked and plagiarized. Look at what's already happening. But everybody will be given everything they need in enough time to do it. This is why we've been doing this since the beginning of the year. Around about Christmas, January, we started putting this out. It is because we know people haven't got a lot of money. We know about the cost of living crisis and stuff like that. And I think that's why we're giving people so long to get themselves a bit of money to pay for their food along the way. And we're giving people enough time to get the equipment they're going to need, because everybody is in a bad situation. So we're giving people enough time, and then when everybody's ready and the time is right, we are going to be putting out the meeting place and the time, and then everybody that's on that march you are going to be part of something that is going to make history. That's all I'm going to say for now. Do you want to add to that?
Yeah, the reason we came up with the Long March to Freedom 2, ladies and gentlemen, was because on the 25th of March 1945, our lads, my dad was part of it. He left from Lambsdorff, which is now Lamowitz in Poland, but back then it was Lambsdorff, Stalag 8B. There was got up in the middle of the night on the 25th of March 1945, 2 foot of snow, minus 30, and there was marched, I think it was over 1,000 miles in a few days. Anyway, it was marched all day, and then they slept in barns, everything at night, but it was freezing cold. People was dropping by the wayside. People got dysentery. There was peeing themselves and collapsing, and they was just left to die, etc. And basically, it was horrendous what they went through. And it was called the Long March to Freedom. And basically, it was to honour them. It was to honour what our ancestors have gone through for us. And it's not the only Long March to Freedom. There's been many others in different countries, etc. But it was to honour everybody who's sacrificed something for their country.
Exactly.
And these people, I know what my dad went through because he used to tell me. And I can tell you it's not pleasant. And if he was here today and he told you the story and he was in front of you, I can tell you that your eyes would be streaming. It was really tough what they went through, but they had no choice. They had to do it. We have got a choice, but we still need to do it. And this is why it was called the Long March to Freedom 2, in honour of all of them people, because we owe them, ladies and gentlemen. And we can do something for them as well and include them in what we're doing today, because they deserve it. I mean, my dad didn't get killed. He was a prisoner of war. He was caught fighting rearguard in Dunkirk in 1940. But he said to me, it wasn't the Germans' fault. It was the Russians. Well, you've got to understand, ladies and gentlemen, back then, the Russians was Bolsheviks. They would have killed you as look at you. There was communists. So the Germans was actually, there wasn't marching them, and my dad told me this, there wasn't marching them to kill them, there was marching them to try and save them from the onslaught that was coming, because they would have not hesitated in the slightest to have killed them soldiers in them barracks. They was trying to save them. But anyway, that's why it's called the Long March to Freedom, in honour of everybody who's sacrificed in marches, etc., in them conditions, and gave up 5 years of their life, or around about that, of their freedom to save us, to give us our freedom now and the opportunity to keep our freedom.
Yeah,
That's what it's all about. Sorry, Nate, carry on.
Yeah, just think, like Gary says, that because that's the concept, because it's the closest one we have to us that really sort of like that most people can actually understand within our history. But as Gary says, there's been many times, and it's actually part of one of them's part of what we're going to be doing on the march with CMW. There's been many times when people have had to march long distances. They've had to go through trials, tribulations, and hardships to fight or reaffirm our rights and reaffirm our freedoms. And this is exactly why the Long March for Freedom, the true and official Long March to Freedom, is being done in the right way. It's not, I mean, it's going to be done over a few days. We're not talking months here. We're talking, it'll be done over a few days, and then there'll be something at the end, and hopefully people will stay to make sure that that's done. There is something we are going to be doing. It's like, this is a reason why it's going to be child friendly and stuff like that, because we do want to do things. beware though that we will be having a bit of a laugh. One of the things that CMW are going to be sort of trying to get people to do along the way is another one of these long marches to freedom was back in 1215 when the Magna Carta was invoked. People marched on the basis of they had nothing to lose. They had jobs, they had everything. They could have carried on, but they was being taxed like we are now. They was being taxed. They couldn't heat their homes. They couldn't get fuel to eat, and they decided to do something about it. So this is where adults and children are going to learn something, because one of the concepts that CMW are going to do for a kind of a role play thing is back in them days, you'd have peasants that carry all the cookware and the tents and everything you're staying. So while you're on the march, any of you parents that bring your children, from the hours of 10 a.m. till 5 p.m, you will be the servants. So you'll carry all the stuff. Your children will be knights, lords, ladies, whatever they want to pick. We can have 20 Sir Lancelots or something like that if you want. It won't be Sir Lancelot. It'll be, we're hoping for you to do a bit of research, and that's going to be part of it because the servants and the children are going to be researching bits about certain bits and doing things along the way in our history. But the adults will be basic servants until a certain time. The children will be the lords and ladies, so you'll get an idea of how hopefully how family friendly it'll be. We're going to have a bit of a laugh. It's going to be educational. It's going to be about history of our nation. It's going to be, you're going to learn a lot about how many times we've had to reaffirm and re-establish our rights. What's had to be done to get that. There's going to be a few things on the way. As I said, this is not just a march and go home. There is so much more to this. Like I said, this is going to be, if you bring your children, this is going to be probably, you have people who take their children to Africa to see animals and stuff like that. This is going to be one of the biggest life lessons your children will probably ever learn, because not only are they going to learn what freedom actually is, they're going to experience in a very minor and a more comfortable way, but they're going to experience exactly what it is and it means, and you go through to make sure that you keep your freedom. So there's a lot to it. So when you're looking at other marches, you plagiarise and ours, understand there's a lot of experience going into our march. Well, not our march, but the Long March to Freedom. There's a lot of different groups, a lot of different aspects to it. This is where we all come together. We've all got something to bring to the table, and it's about time we did that.
Yeah, and your children will be treading in the same paths that the children back in 1215 and the adults did as well. That's the other thing, you know, in some parts anyway.
Exactly. Exactly like I just said, it's sort of like where it'll be camping the things at, it's going to be a no frills. It's like Gary said, so it's like you ain't going to have the creature comforts of your children be able to go to bed in sort of like and watch telly, stuff like that, unless you actually bring a telly and everything with you, but you won't be able to do that. So it's like Gary says, your children will experience what it's like to have had to have gone through certain trials and tribulations and do certain things like camping out and stuff like that to actually get to the end goal, to establish your rights and stuff like that. So be on it. Like I said, we haven't released a date yet because we're still trying to give people time to get money together, because you won't be able to carry all your food all the way along. Some people will. It depends on how you do it. But we are going to be doing some lives on recommendations of equipment and ways to bring food and what you can do and stuff like that. But for now, people need to concentrate on getting camping equipment they can carry. Again, this is no frills. So it's basically a tent, a sleeping bag, maybe a sleeping mat, stuff to cook on, plate, knife, fork, stuff like that. But try and get as light as possible. So like a plastic plate. I mean, me personally, just as a little thing, most people who know me know I do bushcraft and survival camping and wild camping, stuff like that. One of the best things I've ever done is I actually for my plate, is kind of a plate slash bowl, I bought a frisbee because it has a lip, so you can kind of use it as a bowl and a plate, and they are non-indestructible, so there's no cracking or breaking of it along the way. Think along them lines. but it's just to get the basic kit that you can carry. We do anybody as well that wants to maybe help or carry on the organising, or maybe help because we may anybody got a van or anything out there, because we can make use of some people who are willing to have some vehicles there as well, because there's certain things we'd like to do along the way. Please get in touch, or if you have an idea, or you come up with an idea, or you have something to offer, please get in touch. Again, every single opinion, every single idea will be considered. This is about us all working together. But there is a lot more than people think. It's just we can't say a lot of it because we've done this too many times, and like we're seeing now, it gets plagiarized. You get people trying to take it over, or you give other people like Antifa too much information. But the whole point is, this isn't a right-wing march, this isn't a left-wing march, this is a people march, and the one thing we want everyone to unite on is morals, and that is what is right and what is wrong. Political opinions do not matter. Leave them at home. What's right and what's wrong.
Yeah, that's 100%. And if you want to bring a musical instrument, like somebody said in the chat earlier, if you've got a little guitar or whatever you want to bring it, bring it by all means. Nathan's a good singer, so you know he can entertain you on the around the campfire.
You bar steward. Actually, Gary's the singer, not me. I'm the DJ. He's the singer.
Oh dear. Yeah, I'll bust a few tunes out if they can play them.
But that's the thing. If you, like I said, if you want to bring your guitar, if you want to bring certain bits out, this is about unity. This is about coming together. As Gary said, this is about learning about each other's causes. It may not interest you, it may not think, but let's start learning, because the more we learn, the more we know. Like I said, this is bigger than most people will understand. Just because we're not putting it all out there doesn't mean that there's a lot of things, but you have to be on the march to get all this. We will be releasing things for other people along the way. Like I said, there's a lot of disabled people that can't be on the march. You will have your place. You will be part of this. Trust me. Just hold tight. You will have your place. You will be part. Everybody can take part in this. Believe me.
It's basically the biggest bonding exercise to bring back community and the community spirit you'll ever see.
Yep.
So it's down to individuals. You either want your freedoms or you want enslavements. It's one of them. And now's the time to show it. I shared the other day, not on Facebook because I got a ban, but on Telegram, I showed a hornet going into a beehive, and the bees left him alone. They was quite happy to leave him there. He wasn't interfering with them, but then he ate a bee. As soon as he ate the bee, all the other bees swarmed on top of him, and he was no more. And I put, the hornets is the elites, and we are the bees, and it's that simple. When you come together, these cannot stop humanity once humanity wakes up. It's that simple.
Yep. But there's already a list of certain bits you need to have with you on the Long March for Freedom poster. Like I said, you're not going to have a 5-star hotel with toilets and showers, so be understand that. Pack of baby wipes, some nappy sacks and that lot. You will be responsible for clearing up your own mess. We are not to destroy anything. Another thing is, we are not going to be having on-ground fires. So if you have, I mean, like for instance, I have one. It's a fold out. Basically, it's a fire pit that keeps the fire off the floor, so I don't destroy the grass or anything like that. If you've got one of them, bring them. Like I said, we're going to be doing more talk about the gear and stuff like that in more lives as we go along now. Like I said, we've been giving people long enough time. We're now going to start releasing more and more information and talking about certain bits. There is a Facebook group for the Long March to Freedom. It's a chat group, so it's not. If you put anything about ULEZ or anything like that in there, it'll be removed. This is for people just to chat, come together. and hopefully help people out with equipment and stuff like that. Is just to get ready for this march. It's not about putting in your group's narrative for now. This is about people just talking about the march. It's about helping each other get ready for this march. So it's basically there for suggestions with equipment and certain things like that. This is not a group where you can just load it with things that Khan said or digital banking currency. We don't want any of them posts. This is a chat group for people to start uniting and starting to come together and starting to get ready for this. So I'll put the link on my face. There's already a link to it on my Facebook page. I shall also put a link in the comments under this video after we've finished to the Facebook group. There will be a Telegram group and stuff like that, but the groups are to help people get ready for the march with equipment. It is not to put in any politics or anything like that. Any information that needs to be put in there, the admins will. All people need to do is go in there and just help people out. So what will be allowed is links to sleeping bags and things like that. What won't be allowed is links to what Stop Oil done last week or anything like that. So please understand, if you're going to be part of this group, these groups, these chat groups, it is literally there just to help people get ready. For instance, I know there's people out there may have a spare sleeping bag, so they could lend that to somebody, or they could sell that to somebody for a cheap enough price that they can afford. This is where we're going to start getting unity from the get-go. This is where we're going to start helping people. So I'll put the link to the Facebook group because that's up now at the end of this video. The other groups will be coming as well. They will slowly be put under the link to this video and on the Facebook pages. It's now time to start coming together and working together. Start contacting groups, get groups involved. This isn't about any one cause. This isn't about any one thing. This is about us coming together and dealing with the problems we face. No more problems. It's about solutions now. It's time to bring the solutions.
Yeah, and it's not a racist march. Anybody's welcome. Doesn't matter what colour, creed or religion you are. Put all that aside, because we've all got the same enemy. They want us all gone, not just one certain race or religion. They want to cut humanity by 95%. So we've got that.
But even that aside, it's going to affect everyone. So the 15-minute cities are going to affect you no matter who you are. Everything else they're doing, the digital banking currency is going to affect everybody. It's not like Gary's saying. It's not left or right or anything like that. This is just about morals and about what's right and what's wrong.
It's about coming together as human beings, as you know. As you're all divine beings, and you've got to come together. Forget the racist crap you taught at school and all that, about, I've always said this: if you put, a 2-year-old white baby, a Chinese baby, a black baby, Asian baby, and they're all in a room together, they'll play. It's not till they're taught to hate each other by the elites that starts to come into play. So let's go back to all being 2-year-olds. Get on. Doesn't matter, what your ethnicity is or anything. It's all about all coming together to get rid of common enemy that wants to destroy and enslave us all.
Yes, the thing. That's what I think. We use words like say things that will put some people off. But at the end of the day, same thing. Based on what Gary says, but it's not saying. This is about stopping the injustices within our towns, our cities, our communities.
Yeah.
So it encompasses all. So whether it's depopulation, whether it's ULEZ, whether it's thingy, it's about everything. It's about everything. But the main thing is this is about people coming together, because there's no real differences between any of us. If we take away all the political crap and all the rest of it and put most of our differences aside, if you scratch the surface, we're all the same, as Gary said. So it's time, and everybody can help each other. Everyone should be helping each other. We have the platform to help each other on this march. We should be. Like I said, we're getting the new platform up and running, so we don't have to put up with the restrictions from YouTube and stuff like that. But it's time. I mean, so please propagate the proper march, the true march. Let's start. I mean, everybody can help with this. Everybody can have an input for this. Let's start doing it. Anything else you want to add, Tammy?
No, I'm fine.
Yeah. Mel wants me to sing I'm in the Mood for Dancing by the Nolans.
Well, what we do is, if Gary's willing, we'll get him to sing us out.
Sing what?
Sing us out at the end of the live.
Oh, no.
But I'll say this, Mel, if you're on the march, I guarantee you will hear Gary sing it.
Yeah.
But this is what it's about. This is about having a laugh and coming together and uniting. This whole point.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what it's all about, you know. It's about having a laugh, etc.
We can't say too much at the moment. Like I said, we're going to be releasing more and more information. But at the moment, we've got to focus on everybody getting the equipment they need and being ready, because the rest of it will all fall into place when you're on the march. You'll see.
Yeah.
And again, just to clarify, this is not a turn up march, go home march. The march actually in itself is just one part of it. Just one part of it. Like I said, there's a lot more that's going to be going on, a lot more that's going to be done. But like I said, you have to be on the march. And again, I know some people say, well, I can't be on it, because I'm saying, well, you will be involved, but until the march starts, that's when most of it will be revealed, when the march starts. So be ready. Like we keep saying, everybody, whether you're disabled or not, if you're disabled, please don't get despondent. You will have a place. There is things, there will be parts you can do on this. There'll be things you can do to help the march. There'll be things you can do yourself. We are doing this in a way where everybody can play our part.
Yeah. Yeah, it should be good. I'm looking. I'm looking forward to it. It's been planned a long time, and we, like I say, we do everything right. We don't just say, "Oh, we're going to do this in 2 weeks." We like to give people plenty of time to get ready, etc. And you know, if it's done right, it's more enjoyable when it's organised properly. Anyway, I think so.
Well, this is the thing. So when we say organised, and like I said, there will be no 5-star hotels or anything like that. But what's happening is it's going to be organised in a way where unity happens, information is given over. Like I said, it's going to be educational, it's going to be fun, and that's the organising part. It's impossible to do what we're doing and have everyone put. I mean, you can do, like I said, when the march starts, there will be given out certain information. So if you want to join after it starts, certain things like that, you'll be able to at certain points. There'll be the option, if you want to book a hotel somewhere, then come and walk on the march with us. The march is going to be done in stages. That's all we're going to say for now. It's going to be done in stages, and it's manageable stages. And we've done it so families can manage it as well. Other than that,
well, that's a shame that it's done, Danny West. That's a shame, because I love Slade, and Noddy Alder, and he lived round the corner from me when growing up. He used to knock about with my brother, so it's a shame that is, because I like Slade. But there you go.
Well, Rocky Rockstar, that's exactly it. This is why we've been giving people so long, and people have still got a bit of time before it will all be happening. And this is so people have a bit of, because there's people on benefits that want to be on this that will need to put money aside, even if they've got their camping equipment. They need to, I mean, when you're thinking of food, you've got to think not dining out. You've got to think about a camp stove and things you can cook on a camp stove. I mean, we've had suggestions of some people saying that they'll live on a packet of 25p noodles and a tin of hot dogs and certain bits like that. hope we're going to try and get a few people on as well that are going to be talking. And there's going to be, put it this way, there's going to be shows about recommendations that teach you about what sort of food would be the best one to get your carbohydrates up and stuff like that. So these shows will be coming. The next shows are going to be about helping people get ready and be ready and have in their mind the things they need. Stay tuned. This is going to be very, very, very big. We hope. But again, it's down to you lot. It's about down to the people that listen. So don't just wait for us to do things because we're but the few. If every single person who's listening to this and who's on the live feed now, if you're out there talking to other groups, talking to people, getting in the groups, helping people get ready, helping each other, building a community, we can do this, and it will work.
Yeah, and don't forget, once they see us doing things, we'll inspire other countries to do it the correct way as well.
Well, we are actually already in talks with some people in different countries about doing certain things. So, but that's something we can't really mention at the moment.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying. But once we show them the way, rather than hitting the streets and smashing everything up like in France, when people see that there's another way to do it and it's lawful and peaceful, but it's just as powerful, people will get behind that, because not everybody likes to go out on the streets and violence, and you don't want clashes with the police. You want to try and get the police on your side. So the more lawful and peaceful you are, the more chance you've got of that happening.
Exactly. And this is something that we often do stress. This is going to be lawful and peaceful. This is this is going to be hopefully family orientated to the point where everybody will be looking out for each other and children and stuff like that. This is why it's got to be lawful and peaceful. And this is what worries me about some other groups, because they talk about things like self-defense and stuff like that. That's inciting violence. That's a crime. You can be arrested for that. Violence is the last thing we want as a nation, or nation, should I say. It's the last thing. And we don't have to be violent at all. And we definitely do not want to go into anything with that in mind, because that's the last thing from our minds. We don't have to. The way we're going to do this march is going to bypass most of that crap. There is no need for it.
Yeah.
So, and again, it's the same thing. It's like, there's a lot of people that if we said, right, we're going to go to London tomorrow and riot, they'd be with us. Well, it's like with Article 61. If you're willing to go down and be caught on CCTV smashing stuff and things like that, then surely you wouldn't mind doing the Article 61 process and lawfully undergoing diffidatio and removing your consent from the Crown, i.e. the person who says he wants to be a king, and Parliament and what they do. You actually, by law, remove your fealty. So you remove your consent and your allegiance through this process. That's just a bit of paper, and nothing can happen. They can't stop your benefits. You can't get sacked for it. Nothing can happen. You are protected by law to do this. And it's like Gary says, it's kind of an insurance policy, because by law, you're stating your actions. You're removing your consent from these people. So that means you can't vote, you can't do certain things, because you've removed yourself from underneath them. Let's take ourselves from underneath their boot and do this. Do the law. I mean, there'll be, hopefully, this is certain things, hopefully, but there'll be ways of doing these 61 forms that lot on the march as well. We have a free pack, so don't pay anyone for your forms and that lot. We have a free pack on this YouTube channel. You also have a video that talks you through how to do your forms. Everything is free again. The only thing you have to do is take that pack and print it out. And that's it. So get that done. And if you're willing to do that and you do it lawfully, we can do this lawfully, because we can take their power away from them. If they don't have the power that we give them, they can't do what they're doing.
Yeah, exactly. You know, a lot of this, ladies and gentlemen, is just common sense. If you look at the bigger picture and use your common sense, there's nothing you can't achieve. It's just you've got to lose the fear. You've got this fear that these 649 people in suits and a tie who sit in that cesspit that they call Parliament can make all these acts and legislations, and they can rule and lord it over you. But they can't, because there's a constitution that they need to follow that they are not sticking to. they are subverting and sedition with others like the WEF. It's actually high treason. That if we all stand together, they're finished, because they'll all run for the hills when they realise that the people are awake. This is what they fear the most. That's why everything's being shut down and the troops being stopped getting out, because they're frightened of everybody suddenly waking up and seeing what we can all see now. That's what the crux of it is. They're frightened to death.
Right.
And that's why they're rushing to get all their plans in order, because they know that people are waking up.
Exactly. Rocky Rockstar, Danny West, that's exactly the reason why the Facebook Long March for Freedom group is set up. Again, it's not for everyone to load the latest thing they've seen on Facebook about someone doing something. This group is to help people get sorted as far as equipment goes. And within this group, you will find people willing to sign your forms and able to sign your forms and do stuff like that. That's the whole point of these groups. It's not in there to put in, like most other groups, they get saturated with, like, I don't know, something to do with chemtrails or anything like that. These groups are solely to help people get ready with equipment and solely to help people with their forms and certain things like that. So this is about getting equipped. This is about nothing else. So get yourself in a group.
Yeah. But, you know, I don't have any problem getting people to sign March 61. I suppose it depends where you live, but there's a lot of people awake around where I am, and they've all done it, to be honest. So,
well, this is the good thing about the Facebook group and the Telegram group that's going to go up, because within that group, hopefully you'll find people within your area that you can meet up with, and you can sign your forms and do bits like that. This is what this is all for. Like I said, there's a lot of planning, a lot of thing going into this, and you're going to start to see all the plan and everything unroll. This is not something we've just hashed overnight and just thrown out there to try and beat people to the punch. There's a lot of thought gone into this. So, like I said, I'll put the link to the Facebook group. That's the first one that's gone up for now. Get yourselves in there, start talking to each other. No abuse, nothing like that. Let people have their opinion. This is not about politics. This is literally just about this march. So I don't want to hear people arguing or see people arguing. You will be booted from the group if you start abusing people, because if you're there and you're abusing people, then it'll not be funny. You're not there for the right reasons. This is to start bonding. This is to start helping each other. So
Danny ain't on Facebook now. Some people ain't, but if people are on Telegram, we can do a similar group on Telegram as well.
That's it. There is a Telegram group that's going to be set up designated just for this chat and to help with equipment and certain things out. Like I said, there'll be stuff to links and that lot to help people with cheap equipment and stuff like that. This will all be put in there. This is the reason why these groups are being set up. So, Danny, if you're on any platform whatsoever, let us know which one, and then there'll be one platform where you can do it.
Yeah. And for them that have got Telegram, join the CMW group on Telegram. The Truth Will Prevail on Telegram. That's our group. That's just a general thing where we expose the agenda. The Truth Will Prevail. CMW is for the Constitution. And obviously my own Mank Fan. That's just mine where I put stuff on and Nathan puts in there as well. So them are the three.
What we do is
Telegram you can join.
Yeah. There'll be links to the actual groups that for the march, and there'll be some more links to other groups. So if you can't find the thing, go into them other groups, and then you'll be slowly moved into the groups about the march. And this is the whole point. This is about help, because we've come across this many times about getting people to sign stuff like that. We've done this before with Dragon Peace. That you will find people within your area or people or places that you can travel to with like-minded people that we can get this done, and this is what this is about.
There you go. Once we can get people of like-minded in the local groups, then obviously once them people are in there, they're all like-minded people, so you can have no problem people signing your form for you, because they'll have done it themselves.
And another announcement is the fact of CMW will be releasing regional groups. in the near future as well. So there will be a CMW group where people in your area can get together as well, and actions and things will be done through them groups and that as well. Like I said, there's a lot that is going in to this. There's a lot of thought behind it. It just takes time. The more people that help, the more people that get on board, the better. But again, you'll have the Long March for Freedom groups. CMW will releasing regional groups. So there'll be a group in your area to help teach you, that will have bits in it that will help teach you your rights, all the information we've said tonight. So about the Constitution, about common law, your unalienable rights and bits like that. All these regional groups will eventually have all this information in there. That if you download our PDF, the PDF we've created is actually a manual. There's going to be different bits released for this manual that you print off. Eventually, it's become one big book that basically has most of what you need to deal with most of what you do in a daily life within common law and the Constitution, stuff like that. So not only is it going to be teaching you, but it's going to be giving you tools like things like removal of rights of access, certain things like that. It'll all have it in it. It's going to build up to one big book. So eventually you'll have a big book on the shelf, and all you need to do if you've got a problem is you go to the correct section, you take out the correct form, you print it off, you put that form back in, and you use your printed form to then go and do your action.
Yeah.
So there's a lot going into this and not rolling out, but it takes time. These things need to be learnt and done properly.
Yeah. Basically, you know, the future and our destiny is in our own hands. It's what we do with it. This can be, you know, the most impressive thing that's ever been done for people all coming together as one and removing the tyranny and corruption. If people truly want the freedom, if they don't, then obviously the opposite will happen, and everybody will end up enslaved. I don't want that. I want to end up the other way. I want it to go and be the best thing that's ever happened.
Yes, I'm not referring. It's about time we all learnt our rights and upheld them anyway. And this is what the plan is. And I'll just answer Rocky Rockstar and Danny. Yes, Emma is a Mackham, so she's in your area. What we'll do, Danny, also, and for those that are not on Facebook, Telegram, or any social media, I'll put the link to part 1, which has the Article 61 forms and process, in the link below this video as well.
Yeah.
So
that's brilliant.
Bear with me. All them links will be slowly put underneath this video in the comments.
Yeah. So better wrap it up there now. We've been on 2 hours 18 minutes, so that's probably long enough. People will get bored if we stay on too long.
It is. Right, we'll wrap it up there. We'll be doing, like I said, there is going to be more and more shows we do. Bits about food and certain ways you can eat and do certain bits. There'll be equipment shows, stuff like that. This is building up to the march, so this is about helping people get together, get ready, about having a bit of knowledge and about making sure you can be on this and what you can do. And again, I want to stress, you may not be able to be on the whole march. That's fair enough. We understand that if you want to come to one section, things like that, but there will be something big that happens at the end of it. So even if you can be on that, and again, I want to stress this, for all you people that are disabled, who can't walk, who can't do the march, you are not going to be left out. You are not going to be forgotten. You have just as much part to play in this as every single other person involved. Yeah. So please understand that. Stand by, or will be revealed.
Yeah.
All right. Do you want to add anything before we go, Tammy?
No, I'm fine. Thank you very much. Everything has been said.
And again, there'll be a group or a page set up so you can buy T-shirts for the Dragons and CMW. We're going to have to speak to Stephen about the Dragons one, but there'll be a page set up so you can get the CMW T-shirts and merchandise and stuff like that if you want to support us. And again, look on my page, on Gary's page. There'll be something put out, so for your profile picture you can put as a CMW logo or a CMW Dragon, depending which one you want, but that will all be sorted, because it used to be that we all had our Facebook profiles was displaying the Dragons profile, or CNW had a lot, and then everybody changed it because of the Vaccine Act. We need that back because that sends a big message to Facebook and everybody else. So look out for that, and all this, all the logos and everything that's created is going to be for free. You just need to save it and then put it as your profile picture. That we'll also do one for the backing, like quite a lot of people are using the Long March to Freedom one, but all that will be done as well, so we can all start uniting that way. Like I said, there'll be a page or group set up to help you get your t-shirts and that lot. I believe it's not just t-shirts, there's mugs and other stuff, isn't there, Timmy?
Yes, it's what are these? There's hats and caps also that we can actually do.
I mean,
So I will put a list of the things that people can do, and they will be made by order. So somebody wants something, and it'll be done just for them. So if they want anything special on it, they just have to say and their name or whatever, and it's all being done, according to what people want.
Brilliant. So all that will be sorted out in the next in the near future. So keep an eye out. This is where we've given people enough time. We're giving people a bit longer, but this is where we now start moving towards getting everybody ready properly. So stay tuned, everybody. Everything we said is going to start happening. Everything's going to be moving forward, and especially Restoration Radio. With Stephen Lang, keep an eye out for him doing shows, and I believe people have settled on Resistance Radio UK. So watch out because that's coming soon. And again, any groups or anybody that would like to have a slot or say their piece or do something with the radio, please get in touch and we'll see if we can accommodate that.
Yes. And just so everybody gets it, how you can unite. For people that don't already know, Nathan's a Scouser and I'm a Manc. Nathan follows Liverpool, I follow Man United. So it just goes to show you can unite for the greater good.
Yeah. By the way, I'm not from Liverpool. I just support Liverpool. And Gary does support Man United. I don't hold that against him. I should, but I don't.
Yeah, but you know why? Because my granddad was from there, so.
Yeah. But if we can put our differences aside, I mean, I'm not be funny. I've even got friends that are Everton. You know what I mean? So it's one of them. But we can unite. We can do this, people. It is down to us. It is down to our actions and taking responsibility for ourselves. So on that note, good night, everybody. And look out because there'll be more lives in the forthcoming days and weeks. Stay tuned. Thank you everyone for tuning in, and thank you for everybody that's getting involved or will get involved. Everybody will offer your time or anything you can do. Like I said, any ideas you've got, anything at all, please. There's just bring it forward. Let us know, because you may come up with something we can do on the march or something that may be brilliant, and it'll help everybody. But like I said, everybody has a place.
Yeah.
Indeed.
And just remember, guys, just lose the fear. Stand in your sovereignty. Tell your truth. Stand in your truth. They can't. The truth never runs away. The truth don't have to be hidden or questioned. It comes out itself. These people hate the truth, and that's all you got to remember. As long as you're telling the truth, as long as you're doing your truth and it's correct, you ain't got nothing to worry about.
Exactly. Truth is no investigation.
Yeah, it fears, as I say, it fears no man. So there you go. Nathan just said it. And that's all you got to do. Stand in your truth. Be strong. Don't let these people, these elites, bully you, the councils, etc. Stand your ground. And together, I mean, you see this everywhere in the world. TWAS, TWAS, together we are stronger. Let's start proving it then, eh?
Let's put our money where our mouth is. Let's start uniting. Let's start doing what we need. Let's put our arguments and our political opinions and everything to one side, and let's unite for the greater good, for the good of ourselves, and mainly And moreover, we need to do this to secure a decent future for our children. If that's not a good enough reason, I don't know what is.
Yeah.
All right. Right, I'm going to end it now then. All right, thank you everyone. Please share the live, please share the march, please share everything. Flood Facebook, flood everywhere. Let's get as many people on this as possible. Let's get to as many people as possible.
Just start pushing it everywhere, guys. It's your march. It's everybody's march. You know, and like I said, nobody's going to get the credit for this. Only the people as a whole, and the Constitution, and 61, which it should be, because like I said, our ancestors fought for that. They got it to us. Let's use it. Let's use the tools we've been given that can smash this out the ballpark. Simple as.
The laws we're using and we have used in the past have kept peace in our lands for over 1,000 years. It's only now that legislation is destroying that we're seeing what we're seeing. So stay strong. Again, I'll put the link to the Facebook as soon as this ends, so you can start getting into the Facebook group. The Telegram group link will be up there soon. The link to the merchandise page will be up soon. I'll also put the link to the pack, part 1 of the pack with the forms you need in the link. So bear with us. Let's do this, people. The time to stand is now. All right. On that note, night everyone, and we'll see you later.
Bye, everybody.
Yeah, good night, guys.
Bye, everybody.
Let's grow this seed into a beautiful flower.